All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of Facebook, and welcome to the League of Women Voters of St. Lucie County's first candidate forums of the 2020 election year. We have a few little reminders and important information to share with you. So hold on one second, and we're going to share a screen of information for you. Mail-in ballots have already been sent out. They can be hand delivered to the elections office, the supervisor of elections office, or you can mail them back. But if you mail them back, please remember that you need to allow time for them to get back to the supervisor's office. Allow 10 to 14 days for the USPS to get it delivered for you. Early voting begins on August 6th. The 5 locations are listed here. Election day itself is August 18th. To learn more about the League of Women Voters, please visit our website at lwvslc.org. If you need to know about your polling place, or if you want to check to see how your mail-in ballot is doing, you can check it at the Supervisor of Elections office at their website, slcelections.com. And if you want to learn more about the candidates, all the candidates, and not just the ones you're seeing this evening, please visit vote411.org. We will ask different questions tonight than we will ask than are going to appear on Vote 411, so you can learn even more and become an even more educated voter. Lastly, as far as important announcements go, the 2020 census is underway, and the census workers are soon going to be coming door to door to count the citizens of this country. Save them the trip to your house by filling out your census today. So now on to the forum. Tonight we will hear from candidates running for School Board District 4. The format for tonight's forum will consist of a 90-second introduction by each candidate, followed by a series of questions. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer each question. Finally, the candidates will make a 2-minute closing statement. The order of candidates was randomly selected earlier. This is not a debate, so candidates will make their statements and we'll move on to the next candidate or question. There will be no invoking of candidates or responses to answers from one candidate to another. Candidates will be alerted at 30 seconds remaining, and again when their time is up. Our moderator for the forums will be Carol Wyatt. Carol is the co-owner and operator of local radio stations WPSL in Port St. Lucie, WSTU in Stewart, and WJNX in Fort Pierce. She's the president of WPSL Christmas Kids of St. Lucie County, past president of the Rotary Club of Port St. Lucie, and a member of the Port St. Lucie Businesswomen. Carol has many years in broadcasting, including as a reporter in Los Angeles prior to moving to Florida in 1993. We are honored to have her as our candidate forum moderator and for yet another year. And now I'm going to turn it over to Carol.
Well, thank you. And certainly, as always, we need to thank the members of the League of Women Voters for developing the questions. We need to thank our candidates for participating, and particularly the people who are listening and watching to inform themselves, because that is so important in this an extraordinary year for all of us. So our first forum is the St. Lucie County School Board District 4. It's a county-wide race. It's for a term of 4 years for a seat on the board that sets policy for St. Lucie County Public Schools. Our candidates, incumbent Kathryn Hensely, challengers Jason William Palm, and Jennifer Ann Richardson. We will start with the opening statements, and first with Kathryn Hensely.
Good evening. I have the privilege of serving the children and the citizens of St. Lucie County in a variety of ways. I serve on many, many committees and boards, and every one of those is focused on the future of children in this community. The results of the St. Lucie County School District belie the conventional wisdom that with our demographics and our poverty level, that our children will not be as successful as they are. We have proved many people wrong with what can happen with individual children. We focus on each child and try to make sure that child has everything that particular child needs to be successful, no matter the zip code, disability, or anything else. I'm very proud to be able to serve the citizens of St. Lucie County, and I'd like to continue to do that.
Okay, opening statement next from Jason Palm.
Well, thank you so much. Again, my name is Jason Palm. I'm so excited for this opportunity. I'm honored to be in a room of people that love this community as much as I do. I think that's great. I have a history in St. Lucie County Schools, teaching for nearly a decade at Manatee Academy. So one of the reasons why I'm in this race is for the opportunity to really serve those schools and those teachers the way that I was thankful to be served. I remember an opportunity when I was at a school board meeting, and I was wearing my Red for Ed t-shirt, and I found the decision unfavorable and realized that until someone had the opportunity to speak that had been a teacher, that had been there, I didn't think anything was going to change. So after 5 years working on our local school board at a private school called Sunlight Christian Academy, I took the time to learn the things that were needed to make a change. And so now I'm excited to have an opportunity for my children to set their future up in St. Lucie County Schools to be the best it can be.
Thank you. And opening statement now from Jennifer Richardson. Ms. Richardson? Let's see, we have mute and unmute.
Well, I guess I'm one of those that you had to tell on mute. Hello, right? My name is Jennifer Richardson, and I'm campaigning to be a member of the St. Lucie County School Board. I have been a longtime resident of St. Lucie County for over 20 years, where my 3 children have attended and graduated from schools in the St. Lucie County school system. I'm advocating to create opportunities for every child to succeed, promote fiscal responsibility, and to expand vocational and technical schools. I believe it's time for a new voice with fresh perspective. I believe I'm just the person to provide that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now you've heard from the 3 candidates. We'll go to the questions now. And there was a little drawing ahead of time of who would be go first, and after that we will rotate. So we're going to start with Kathryn Hensely. Budget cuts to education nationwide have resulted in a reduction of student access to art, music, sports, and other extracurricular activities. Research indicates that exposure to these very things improves a child's critical thinking skills and ability to learn. So how do you propose expanding access to these activities in St. Lucie County? Kathryn Hensely.
We have never backed away from arts in our schools or athletics in our schools. When it was directed a few years ago, back in 2002, that the arts were fluff, we decided that we knew that was not accurate. So we have been able to maintain arts in all of our schools. We have athletic programs in all of our schools. And with the help of the community at large, we've been able to expand the offerings for our kids in school and after school. And now we're working on artists in residence. So we will have an artist working directly with each school. It's an exciting time, but we never backed away from arts or athletics or any extracurricular activities that we knew was in the best interest of our students.
Okay, for Jason Palm, how do you propose expanding access to these activities in St. Lucie County?
Well, I love that question because it has to do with not only finding teachers that are interested in maintaining after-school programs. I know when I was a teacher, there was all sorts of opportunities for me. I coached basketball, I taught guitar lessons, I coached Odyssey for the Mind. So by increasing those programs and access to that, that's one way. But another thing we need to do that I'm big on is accessing the community. I love the idea of getting a resident artist. Even hearing that idea is so great. Figuring out ways that we can incorporate the community, these people that are already in these fields, and create opportunities for our students to learn from other people from different views, I think is one of the most important things we can teach a child. And so I'm excited about this question, and we should never back away from arts.
Okay, for Jennifer Richardson, same question. How do you propose expanding access to these activities?
Community, community, community. Yes, get the community involved. There's been lots of downtime for parents, guardians, the community. This time has, been creating a reflection on what's important. And so we know that, that school, education, the arts, all of these things are important. And because we're not where we can have it. So if we don't have it, we realize how important it is. And so because of that appreciation now for these things, I think that the community is more receptive to coming on board and donating their time and their talents to the school system. And so yes, definitely getting the community involved and parents. Getting the parents on board because they have a great appreciation for our education system, I've heard. So getting them on board is definitely important. And also putting together this holistic program for our children. You know, there are things that we're lacking. Now we're getting an appreciation for the whole teaching, a scope of teaching for kids.
Okay, our next question, we'll start with Jason Palm. School choice through private and charter schools and vouchers is a major topic of discussion, even at the highest level of government. Do you agree with this type of school choice? Why or why not? Jason Palm.
Well, I love that you asked the question, why or why not? Because I think that's central to the topic of charter schools. We often say yes or no when we talk about charter schools. We don't ask, why do they exist? And I think until we ask that question, they're a reality that needs to exist. So right now, our families, our parents, our citizens in St. Lucie County are looking for different options. The question is, why is that? And it has to do with what we are doing to our teachers by creating an atmosphere where they're not allowed or they're discouraged from using the creativity and their personality in the sake of standardization. So what charter schools end up doing is creating these opportunities where teachers can teach the way that they were created to teach. And so here's the deal. The average charter school costs $6,500 per student per year, when the average public school spends $9,000 per year. And I'm no math wizard, but that sounds like we have $2,500 that we could spend to actually fix the problem that makes them a necessity. And in the time that we have, we can use those resources to be fiscally responsible so that we can work towards a solution and create a public school system that meets every need for every family.
Okay, for Jennifer Richardson, same question. Do you agree with this type of school choice? Why or why not?
I believe that every child is entitled to quality education. They should be given every opportunity to learn and succeed. So I am advocating for whatever is deemed necessary for our children to get this quality education.
Okay, for Kathryn Hensely, do you agree with the type of school choice? Why or why not?
St. Lucie County is known statewide and beyond that as a district of choices. We have many opportunities for parents to choose different types of programs, different schools. When we come to charter schools, it has to do with the level playing field. They do not have to provide the same services. I think they might have a place. They have a level of accountability and measurement that is obvious and transparent. Vouchers, however, do not. There are no measures of accountability for the taxpayer dollars. As a fiscal conservative, I believe every taxpayer dollar needs to be accounted for. So we've been able to work with our charter schools to make sure that we have a better understanding of what they're providing and not providing. But with a voucher program, it's very difficult to follow. And we have found that that has really tilted the playing field.
Okay, next question starts with Jennifer Richardson. In your opinion, is St. Lucie County Schools' sex education curriculum comprehensive and age appropriate? Does it ensure that students are well educated about protecting themselves and others and maintaining their health? If not, what improvements are needed? Ms. Richardson.
Thank you. So I believe sex education is a personal decision between parents and children. So if we're talking about HIV awareness, I believe that it encompasses some sex education and parental permission is required and necessary. If we're going to teach sex education, then we should be teaching abstinence as well. Thank you.
Then to Kathryn Hensely, what improvements might be needed, or do you believe it's maintaining its
We monitor it constantly to make sure that everything is age appropriate and that we are keeping up with the latest information. Most of it has to do with helping children understand how to make the right choices. Sex education is a piece of it. It is not the whole program. The program is about making correct choices. Parents who don't wish at any level for their child to participate in that curriculum can opt their child out. The first year we instituted a comprehensive health curriculum. Out of all the students that we had 2 that opted out. So it is really not just sex education as some people want to talk about. It is actually much more broad than that. Our community as a whole has stepped forward and helped facilitate to make sure that there are avenues for parents to learn how to talk to their children about significant issues. But it is mostly about helping children make the right choices and helping them understand the repercussions of not making the correct choices for their own benefit.
Jason Palm, same question for the sex education curriculum. Are improvements needed?
I really, this question speaks to me because I'm not sure if I'm the only one in the room, but I actually taught this curriculum in 5th and 8th grade. I taught that curriculum, and one thing that was clear to me is that I wish that some of the topics that were talked about were not age appropriate, but unfortunately for many students they are. Students are putting their health at risk. And as much as I would love to not talk about the issue, the problem remains that these kids have a need for a foresight into their future. And if we're really caring about every child every day, we need to think about the children that even are coming from a different perspective than we have. For instance, I'm a pastor, and so traditionally I should say that this would be down the wrong line. However, I've been in those classrooms. I've seen and talked to students that are having real issues that just simply choosing not to bring the conversation up is not benefiting them. In fact, for many kids, it's actually causing hurt. And we need to teach our students how to make good choices. And as it was said, that was the majority of what is taught, making reasonable decisions, good choices, and thinking about their future, which is what we're training them to do, what we're helping them to do.
Okay, thank you. Next question, we'll start with Kathryn Hensely. St. Lucie County Schools has a robust selection of elementary magnet schools, as well as specialized education and attractor programs for high school students that are all extremely popular. Should this selection be further expanded, or should more focus be put on trade skill development? Kathryn Hensely.
We are, as you probably are aware, we have expanded our offerings in career and technical, which is actually the old vocational and trade type thing. We have dozens of programs with many, many certifications. So we have worked to make sure that we can address the needs of each child, and that includes a very robust opportunity to go into careers. Students need to find out what they don't want to do, as well as find out what they do want to do. And so we've been able to maximize some of those opportunities because of our community relationships. And our programs change every year, sometimes every semester, to make sure we keep up with the latest technology and the latest needs. Most of those programs have been built on the Research Coast document and the Economic Development Council document for the future. So we've been able to respond very quickly, and we've actually doubled the number of students in such things as our construction trades and other programs.
Okay, for Jason Palm, same question. Should you expand the specialized programs or more emphasis on trade skills?
We need to expand our opportunities for children. I know that there's been work done in this area, but in my opinion, it's just not enough. We need to figure out ways where a student can really be taught in a way that's specific to them. We say that all the time, but we don't do it. I have a student in my mind right now from when I was a teacher. In the 8th grade, a 17-year-old student who was the best mechanic in the world, had no desire, no ability to do anything else. That's all he wanted to do. But he felt like there's nothing for him. And I felt like that was a burden to me. Every time I taught science and I talked about combustion, boy, did that kid get it. And I think the more that we can take opportunities to increase with our community partnerships, ability for children to get their hands working in as long as their minds are still working, that's only benefiting their future. So that's my take. We have to expand. We're not doing enough. We need to do more.
Okay, Jennifer Richardson, same question. Should we expand the specialty programs or emphasize trade skills?
Well, why should it be a choice? Why can't we do both? You know, that's what education is about. We are here to make sure that our children are educated in the direction or their energy. Pardon me? Oh, in order to attract business into the community, we have to be competitive and have an above average school system. So we should expand and grow in that area. However, not all children are found. We have to find that little niche for them. Vocational and technical excel in whatever direction they want to go in, whether it's plumbing, you know, whatever. And the thing is that we need to make it specific to St. Lucie County so that when they leave school, yes, they leave with a they are employable. So yes, working with our business partners, you know, interning, whatever it is that we need to do to keep our children interested in school and learning, then that's what we need to do. So that's where I am. Keep them in school, keep them off the street, and yes, if it means working with specific children and doing specific things because we have identified it, then that's what we need to do. Education is not about educating the masses, it's about educating our children one at a time. So again, leave it to the teachers. The teachers have identified who these kids are. Let's work with them. Get it done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We want to remind people, this is a bit of a technical experiment. We're all doing the Zoom candidate forum for the first time, a little bit at the mercy of internet quality, but certainly thank you. And we move on to our next question. We'll be starting with Jason Palm. All children are unique and have specific learning capability and needs. Do you propose ensuring that the educational needs are met for every child at their level in the current school structure? Or should the structure of schools be changed to better tailor education to the students? We're going to Jason Palm first.
Well, thanks for the question, Carol. I find it interesting that as you talk about the problems with technology, my answer starts with it. My answer starts with technology because there's curriculum right now that is adaptive. Assessment tools and adaptive per student as they answer questions, it increases. We need to double down on that curriculum. I'm going to let you into a little secret that's unfortunate. Due to the constraints of the average teacher, true differentiation among students is a farce. It's the dream, it's the utopia that doesn't happen enough in the classroom, just based on actually being there. And not to sound conceited, because actually I'm a pretty humble dude, I was a great teacher and found difficulty making sure that those kids that are so far advanced continue to progress. And those kids, I spent more time with the kids at the bottom because my administrators, even though they are amazing, have a job to do, and that is raise the lower quartile. And so what happens is differentiation becomes this utopian joke that doesn't actually happen, except with technology of adaptive curriculum where it can progress with the student and take the student. We need to double down on technology. We need to double down on resources for our teachers so that that dream that they have of true differentiation, we equip them to actually do instead of expecting it, but not equipping them with what they need to succeed. I think that we're failing. We could do so much better, and the tools are there if we would just take advantage of them.
Okay, same question to Jennifer Richardson. Should the structure of schools be changed to better tailor education to students?
Well, identifying the uniqueness and the specific learning abilities is half the challenge. So once we have done that, then we know what we're dealing with. So we work with the ones that are, advanced, and then we have to bring up the rear with the other ones. I have no problems, but every child has an ability to learn. We need to find how to get them to where they need to be. They don't need to be left behind, but we have to work with them. And again, we use technology, whatever it is that is going to aid in their learning. So, and one of the things that I have discovered is that if a child trusts you, that they're going to do anything for you, they're going to learn. If they know you care for them, they're going to do their best. And we have to make sure that the atmosphere is safe. It's a safe learning environment for that child. And once we have that there is nothing that this child wouldn't do. Every child, or most children that I know, idolizes their teachers. So if we put those things in place, then it creates that atmosphere for learning. There was a child that in one of my classes, and when I was an assistant teacher, let me say that, but he had an issue. He thought it was learning. It wasn't learning. His eyes, he couldn't see, and he was getting headaches. So he was becoming a problem child. But because I'm a concerned teacher, I took the extra step. We got him glasses and we were able to mainstream him. So we need to find the best fit teachers for those classrooms. That's all I'm going to say on that. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. Kathryn Hensely, should the structure of schools be changed to better tailor education?
Schools change all the time, and schools have changed a lot, especially in the last few years. We have the privilege of our tech guy being on a national board for Microsoft, and that has led us to be able to purchase and upgrade a lot of our technology for a lot less money than we thought we would have to spend. We do have a great deal of technology. We try to make sure that every child is taught to their best ability, and that includes, we have blind kids and deaf kids and kids with IEPs. We made a decision several years ago that we wanted to focus on the children that needed the most help. And within 2 years, we raised their graduation rate by 18% with a pathway into after-school work or after-school programming. So when you put your focus on making sure there's a flexible schedule that addresses the needs of each child, you could do wonderful things because we have teachers who are capable of doing those wonderful things. And most of our teachers do know how to identify the first signs of something going wrong or some problem with the child. And then with our social and emotional learning department and our wellness program, we can get to those children as soon as possible to help them be as successful and help them to overcome the trauma or whatever might be impeding their ability to move forward. So we made a lot of movement. We try to make sure we're flexible and nimble, and we are continuing on that path.
Okay, thank you. Next question goes to Jennifer Richardson. In the event of a second wave of COVID-19, what would you do to ensure the health and safety of students, teachers, and school staff? Jennifer Richardson.
Okay, so the school board works on behalf of the community. Therefore, the health and the safety of students or teachers and or school staff, it is I online policy is already in place for virtual and online, so all we have to do is extend it for everybody instead of the few that have signed up. We can, as long as the tools are necessary or are in place for learning. For example, the last time we were short on laptops, so all of these things needs to be in place. Everyone would be safe and healthy and learning would continue. We wouldn't skip a beat. I would like to add that there's a portion of our community that is at risk. This sector should be identified and should be priority when considering online learning, so they are not left behind in the shuffle. We can't focus always on, you know, the children that are in place. If they are in place, let them be. Let us focus now on the ones that are at risk. This way, everybody is given that opportunity to succeed, even in the middle of a pandemic. It is possible. It could happen.
Okay, next, Kathryn Hensely. In the event of a second wave of COVID-19, what would you do to ensure the health and safety of students, teachers, and school staff?
I disagree with the second wave concept because I think we're still in the first wave. However, with the mandate from the state, we are doing what we have to do by law and by rule while trying to make sure that we have everything in place. Every student will be about 50% of our students in the classroom, probably 50% that are live streaming. So that every child that is going to be doing the live streaming will have a laptop individual to them, not just for the household. We have to be ready to be nimble, that if we have to close our schools again, we have to have our staff ready to make sure that our children who need us the most are taken care of. That means our social workers and our security people, making sure those kids are safe, calling on them, doing what they need to do. And it is unfortunate, the circumstance we're in. There's no positive for this. We just have to see what we can do to minimize the negative. To that point, we have a 50-page document that's being built up every day on how we're going to deal with staff, buildings, and students, and families, volunteers, all that sort of thing, so that we are doing the best we possibly can to keep everybody safe while we're educating our students individually.
Okay, to Jason Palm, same question. In the event of a second wave or continuation of the first, what would you do to ensure the health and safety of students, teachers, and school staff? Jason Palm.
Well, thanks again. I like this question as well, because I feel like we have a responsibility to come together as a community. We have a responsibility to protect children in more than one way. There's an idea that we need to, by a big majority of our community, that we need to hold back, that we're moving too fast, that our current school board moved and jumped without looking. And so the problem is that we also have a need to get these students in the classroom for their family's sake. It doesn't work for their safety if all their parents lose their jobs either, and then can't feed them. That's not going to help their education. So I understand it's a rock and a hard place scenario. I think back of the history of the school board I'm currently on, which is St. Lucie Christian Academy, or excuse me, Sunlight Christian Academy, sorry about that, where the way that school started was Sunflower Aftercare was taken out by Francis and Jean. They had no place for those kids to go. And as community partners, we opened our doors. And by opening our doors, we created a space for them to meet. Now I think about all of the community spaces we have, and instead of cramming 50% or 75% or however many chance subscribes to us, by spreading out and using our community partners and using those spaces, we can create more jobs where we're creating people to be in those classrooms. We're taking down the number of students per teacher by creating these opportunities. And the logistics might be an excuse for someone that doesn't want to be creative about figuring out how to really solve this problem instead of taking the easy way out. I think that we have a responsibility to these kids, and I think that we could do something about it.
Okay, well, we have come to the end of our questions here, and I believe we are ready for closing statements. Going first, if it's 2 minutes each, going first to Kathryn Hensely.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. I am very proud that in St. Lucie County, we tend to, I study the problem, I read, I get information from 11 different sources every day. We never make a decision quickly in isolation. They may appear to be quickly decided because of the lack of potential involvement in the decision process, which is very complex at times. We are focused. We are the only district in the country that is a Kids at Hope community. We don't talk about kids at risk. We talk about the hope that each child should have and help them make a plan for their own future. I'm very proud of what St. Lucie County has done for its children, its students, its citizens. By working together, we can show that even though you have 75% of your students that qualify for subsidized or free food every day, that they can have a 98 to 100% graduation rate on time with a pathway into the future that is a real career. So I'm very pleased with what we've been able to accomplish. We're not there yet. There's more work to be done, and I would really appreciate the opportunity to be able to continue on the path that I've helped create.
Closing statement, Jason Palm.
Well, again, I'd like to thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm so privileged to be in this, well, I guess not room, but Zoom call or Facebook Live with these people that really care about our community. My wife was born in Port St. Lucie. My children, who are 5 and 4, actually are going to be in St. Lucie County schools. I have a vested interest to make sure that the future is bright in the community that my family is so invested in and so have such a long history in. One of the things that I'm excited to do during this season of COVID, in my job as a pastor, we've had to pivot in ways that are we never would have expected. And so I really feel like I've been prepared in this time after 5 years being on a school board, 10 years teaching, and then even this experience where figuring out new and challenging or new ways to fix challenging problems. I feel like God has really put me in a position where I have an opportunity to make a change and to really use some of those gifts to help people, which is what I feel called to do. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to pour back into the county and the community that I love so much. So thank you.
Closing statement, Jennifer Richardson. Let's see, do we have the unmute again? Jennifer Richardson.
Oh, this mute button.
There we go.
Thank you so very much for having me on tonight. My name is Jennifer Richardson, and I'm running to be your representative, your voice on the St. Lucie County School Board. I will be the voice of progress, whereby every child has an opportunity to succeed. I will be the voice of common sense, to promote and expand vocational and technical schools. Voice of fiscal responsibility, using our tax dollars in the classroom to prepare our children for a life as productive citizens. I will be the voice for our educators and support staff. We are on the front line of educating our children. If you need a voice on the school board, vote Jennifer Richardson on August 18th. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank all of you for being part of this and being part of our first experiment of our first candidate forum by Zoom. We are all learning a little bit about this, but thank you, Kathryn Hensely, Jason Palm, and Ann Richardson, Jennifer Ann Richardson. And thanks to everyone who's been watching, listening, for finding out who is running and more about them and what you need to know before the primary and before you cast your vote. And certainly we want to thank the League of Women Voters, all the members who put together the questions for this and got in contact with the candidates and have really made it all happen. So our thanks to Andy Poley, president of the League, who will join us, I believe, again to bid farewell. Tomorrow is the District 2 candidate forum for the St. Lucie County School Board. So we certainly hope that you will join us then and continue to find out more about St. Lucie County elections.
Thank you, Carol, and thank you to all of the candidates, and thank you to the members of the League of Women Voters of St. Lucie County. They worked really hard to put this together in spite of our technical failures, but it kind of happens. It is 2020, so we will get this out to all of the viewers who wanted to see it as soon as possible, as soon as we can get it up on our YouTube. Please visit vote411.org to learn more about the candidates. There are more questions there for these candidates and all the other candidates running in your elections on your ballot. It is a one-stop shop for learning about the elections. It is super dark around me, so I'm going to shut this down because it is storming, and I'm sure it's storming where you are.
Yes.
So thank you again to everyone, and vote wisely.